All right, that's the time travel today, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, that sounds like music of some sort. Sounded like an old man with a tin leg.
I guess it depends how you sort it, and if that's the category you put it in, it doesn't sound really appealing. But Jim, speaking of appealing, let's find out how appealing this week's ratings are. Now, it's a big rating story because, again, it's week 2 of NXT versus AEW in terms of the overall picture, but AEW is actually head-to-head with the second hour of NXT, and AEW had a few other things ratings-wise.
Well, now let's put it all out there. To be fair, it was a new night for them, Tuesday night instead of Wednesday. So that hurts. And we had hurricanes going on as well as, other things. So that could hurt everybody. But then again, they did this last year and they had a Titty Tuesday on Dynamite or Title Tuesday or whatever it was. And they still did a pretty sizable audience. So there's things working positively and negatively, and we're going to see how this shook out. But apparently, it was a real shaky shakeout this week for our friends over in Jacksonville.
Well, why don't we start with your friends in Connecticut? They're not my friends. But WWE NXT.
Hey, who's? I like Adam Pearce. After that, things go downhill.
Well, this is WWE NXT on CW Week 2, October 8th, 2024. Jim, on average, from 8 to 10 p.m., 874,000 viewers.
Oh, boy, howdy. That's a pretty good number. And now, we said that, AEW was on an unfamiliar night, but nobody's been bringing up that, NXT's only been on this station for 2 weeks. So there's a little disruption there.
One night was the vice presidential debate. Obviously,
that was it.
There's been a lot of competition, so you didn't know what to think. Week 1 is usually a big number. Week 1, for the record, was 895,000 viewers, according to WrestleNomics, down 2% this week.
So they only lost 21,000 people, which is kind of at those numbers in the margin of error.
Quarter 1, 8 to 8:15 p.m., a recap of previous events, Trick Williams and Jey Uso's live angle, if we are going to call it that. These were compiled by WrestleNomics. And an ad break, 941,000 viewers.
Ooh. And I would have said this is network television, if you can call CW a network, and that means that their lead-in is basically local programming, 7:30 to 8. It's primetime adjacency, so...
You know what the lead-in was here?
What?
Big Bang Theory. I swear to God,
was that everywhere? Is that because they don't have?
No, that's a local thing. It's New York.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. It might not be the Big Bang Theory everywhere. It might be anything the local station is programming at 7:30 or 6:30 Central or whatever everywhere.
Well, we go to quarter 2, 8:15 to 8:30 p.m. The Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Kaylani Jordan versus Fatal Influence match with no pictures in picture, just through ad break, 940,000 viewers.
Okay, so again, they're departing heavily from the pattern of AEW, Big Bang Theory or no, where they only lost 1,000 people in the first 15 minutes or first 30.
And they gained in the key demo. They started at 318, they went to 337. We go to quarter 3, 8:30 to 8:45. The Axiom, Nathan Frazier, Randy Orton backstage angle.
They were conversing in a mild manner.
Julia's backstage promo. An ad break. The Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, Julia, Stephanie Vacour live angle. The No Quarter Catch Crew, Lexis King backstage angle.
Oh, that's what those people's names were.
No Quarter Catch Crew. All right. 927,000 viewers.
Good God, that's a gift from the gods. They only lost 13,000 for that stew.
By the way, high point in the key demo, 351.
Good Lord.
Quarter 4, 8:45 to 9 p.m. Began with an ad break. And then the start of Oba Femi versus Tony D'Angelo with another ad break in the middle of the match. 891,000 viewers.
Okay, so it took them 45 minutes just to lose 50,000 people and drop below 900. So they're retaining much of the audience that they started with, and I assume from the average that it's not going to go too much farther down from here.
Well, we go to 9 o'clock, the big 9 o'clock hour, quarter 5, 9 to 9:15 p.m. The continuation of Femi versus D'Angelo. The Lola Vice Jada Parker backstage angle.
Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets.
The Lola Vice Ava Nikita Lyons backstage angle.
Wasn't there a 70s girl wrestler on the Outlaws? She wasn't with Moolah, named Lola Kiss?
I don't know. I never heard that name.
Seems like I remember that, but go ahead.
Nikita Lyons returns in that backstage angle.
Yes.
And then Belair, Cargill, Jordan have a confrontation with Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. 858,000 viewers.
Okay, a lot of girls on the program. They're suffering like AEW does. Too many girls.
Quarter 6, 9:15 and 9:30 p.m. Axiom and Nathan Frazier versus A-Town Down Under through an ad break and then another ad break.
Good Lord.
811,000 viewers.
Boy, when you read it out just flat like that, I know we took the piss out of it going over it, but it sounds even worse when you just read the bare statistics. So now they've lost 130,000 people and 47,000 just in that 15 minutes. Now, at quarter 5 and at the top of the hour, not NXT, but AEW was on. So did they lose 70 or 80,000 people tuning over to the opposite direction? Well, we will find out when we go through the quarters on it. Or did they just leave and do something else with their life?
Well, we go to the quarter. We go to quarter 7, 9:30 to 9:45 p.m. A Chase U video
that chased me off.
The Ridge Holland Chase U backstage angle.
Yeah, I was zoning out on all this shit.
A recap and the sexy red Ethan Page Javon Evans live angle.
Good Lord.
Followed by an ad break. 784,000 viewers.
Okay, and I'm not surprised. So now they're getting into AEW territory. 157,000 people down from the start of the show.
And finally, quarter 8, 9:45 to 10 p.m. Network TV. There ain't going to be any more overruns. Randy Orton versus Javon Evans. There's an ad break. And the Ethan Page, Ava, Wesley backstage angle. 838,000 viewers.
The power of Randy Orton. He 38, 48, 54,000 people came back. So they started at 941. They ended at 838, and they only had one quarter below 800, which was very late in the show. So there wasn't the attrition that the AEW programs get most of the time, but still they lost, 103,000 or about, what is that, doing math in my head, 12, 13% of the audience they started with. So it's not 25 or 30, but they lost some.
They picked up some at the end. Obviously, they had Randy Orton, but when you're on network TV or on, broadcast, how much of the gain at the end of the show is because of what's on or is because people are waiting for the 10 o'clock news?
On the CW stations?
On the CW stations.
I wouldn't imagine there's a clamoring for the local news on the CW affiliates. That's just my experience as a television person.
They got Kaidi Tong on the weekends, but that was the NXT ratings.
In all honesty, I don't think that our CW station, and I'd have to check the cable guide, I don't think they have news because it is a subsidiary of one of the other major stations in town that has news. So the only way they would have news is if they're putting the other station's news on their feed.